The Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And today on the podcast, we've got another episode of Sugar and Spice and all things nice. Episode number 5, and joining me as per usual is George from the Quick Hands Podcast. How you going, George?
Hey, Troy. How are you, big fella?
Not too bad.
Number 5, we're racking them up, eh?
Yeah,
we're racking them up.
That's it, mate. Some good fun and getting some good feedback about it, as it's a little bit of NRL talk. Look, a lot happens week to week. And look, listeners, check out the Quick Hands Podcast. I was listening to it on the way home today.
Good on you, Troy.
The last bit of your podcast episode, so really enjoyed that. The year in review and the all the old movies and songs and your player review.
Good on you, bit of fun, Troy.
That's it. So listeners, check that one out. That was great. But we're here to talk NRL issue. Sorry, go.
I just want to say, when we post Sugar and Spice something nice on our platform, the feedback we get is that for some reason you and me have got great chemistry. That's what the feedback is on our one.
Yeah,
and they're saying it's something different for me, and a lot of them are listening to you now as well, or parts of your show. So they're familiar with you now. So that's the feedback we're getting.
That's good, mate. That's good. The cross collaborations are getting listeners to each other's shows, and I still haven't worked out who's Sugar and who's Spice yet. But I don't know. Maybe we've got two. Our minds think too alike or something like that. I'm not too sure.
I think we're pretty similar.
Yeah,
I think we're pretty similar, Troy.
That's it, unfortunately. Well, let's kick it off with coaches. And there's been a few coaches in the news of late this week. And the most sort of frequent one that's been talked about is Jason Demetriou, who it looks like he will lose his job, unfortunately, at the South Sydney Rabbitohs after this week's game. Now, talk to me about this whole situation. Hasn't it been sort of a bit of a mess in terms of they've gone out to supposedly look for a caretaker coach. They've said that this weekend's going to be your last game. Why would Jason even turn up to this game on the weekend?
It's been a circus, Troy. Seriously been a circus. I don't know why he'll turn up. Honestly, if he knows this is his last game and he's going to get sacked, which all reports says that's what's going to happen, I wouldn't turn up. But it goes deeper than that. You know what? A lot of it is JD's fault because he hasn't got the ability to manage big personalities, okay? Latrell, Cody, they're extremely difficult people to rein in. I know they've thrown him under the bus by the performances they've given, and you know my feelings about Latrell. If he wasn't Latrell, he'll be in the Reggies. Honestly, the last 6 games, what he's dished up, it's been rubbish. Okay, and the elbow issue, and then the spear tackle or the lifting. That was the last straw. Yeah, not only from and but you know what? Not only does JD look after Latrell, but so does the league. They gave him 3 tackles for that elbow in his face.
3 weeks. Yep.
I mean, no disrespect. If you did that in 1977, you'd probably get 12.
Well,
and the guys
definitely.
the the guy's getting 3, and that lifting tackle. Well, wait a minute. Mitch done something. Sorry, Nathan Cleary done something similar and got 6. You know what I mean? So they keep on protecting him. They keep on nicely softy. Oh, it's okay, Latrell. It's okay. Guess what? Now you got a little spoiled shit. Now you got a little guy who thinks he's who runs the game. Now you got someone who thinks he's entitled. You know what I mean? He hates authority. We know that. Okay. Now, what am I saying all this about? It was JD's obligation to rein him in.
Yeah.
But he's never reined him in, and we get to a scenario because unfortunately, Latrell goes right through that South Sydney team. How he feels on the day, if he's feeling good, they're all feeling good. If he's feeling down, they're all feeling down. If he's disengaged, they're all feeling disengaged. Okay? I mean, I haven't seen Cody play. I can't remember the last time I seen Cody play well. You know what I mean? And what's poor Jack thinking? I mean, I've left South to win a comp. I left the Raiders to win a comp, and we're coming last. What's this all about? Now, you know what? I actually think that Jason Demetriou is a nice guy. And I actually believe he's a good coach.
Okay.
But his inexperience of reining in big names means he's going to lose his job, and he'll pick up a job somewhere, an assistant coach somewhere, but it's going to be a while since he gets a top coach. Now, the word is Mal Meninga.
That's a very interesting one, isn't it? That sort of came from left field.
Well, if someone said it, the deal's been done. You don't just say randomly, Mal Meninga's in the wings. The deal's been done. He's been sorted. He's been spoken to. He's been signed. Yeah. Now I can't see Mal getting to Heffron Park at 6 o'clock in the morning. I can't see that happening. So
he'll be a part-time coach like Benji.
I think so. He might be phoning it in, but probably most of the coaching will be done by the assistant coach there, which his name
Ben
Hornby, the ex St George player, and he'll be coming in and doing the mentoring. But it's just been a dog's breakfast. But one thing I do know, number one, that roster is not a bottom 4 roster. And the other thing I know is, if you treat players like Latrell softly, because we know what Trent Robinson done about it. He got rid of him straight away when he saw some cracks. Okay, if you treat him like they've treated him, it's okay, Katie. It's okay, Katie. It's okay, Trell. Well, this is what you get.
Yeah, no, it's certainly it has, as you said, has been a circus, and I always thought that at the start of the year it was going to be interesting to see how the Las Vegas trip would it impact any of the 4 teams that went over there. So because nobody had ever done it before, no one's ever played in Las Vegas in the NRL, so they took it there for the first time this year. So I thought about it, and I thought, is one of those 4 teams, are they going to struggle either or mostly for form, going over there and then coming back? We saw it didn't really impact Manly too much for the first 2 weeks. They won their first 2 games. Brisbane won their game, I think, by memory, the next week against the Roosters.
Yes, they did.
The Roosters have won 1 or 2 games since, but South, they're the ones that have really struggled from coming back from Las Vegas. They've only won 1 game, and that was against your beloved Bulldogs on Good Friday, which they only just won.
Just won, yeah.
The Bulldogs were the better team.
Yeah, I think they were. And to be fair, back end of last year, and you can say halfway through the season, they've been struggling for a while now. So over the off season, I don't know what Jason Demetriou done, but he didn't address any of the outlying problems. They just bury it in the ground, hoping that it will sort of go away magically. But these things don't go away.
No, well,
These don't go away.
perhaps Sam Burgess was onto something and knew something, and he's gone over to England and he's on fire now. He's only lost one game, I think, for
Yeah,
Warrington. So
his team's come in second, Troy there,
yeah,
and he's picked up a squad which was a little bit in disarray.
okay,
Good on paper. I watched Super League. Good on paper, but in disarray.
yep,
And he's built a solid squad. A solid squad. They will be in the top four, and they'll be a contender. I'm not sure if they'll win because there's two or three teams a bit better than them, but he's fixed up a contender. So expect to see him back in the NRL in the next couple of years, I'd say.
yeah, quite possibly, and maybe back at South. Well, another coach that's been under pressure at the moment is the coach of my beloved Parramatta Eels, Brad Arthur. Parramatta have only won 2 games this year. They got flogged on the weekend by Canberra. Obviously, their biggest name, biggest paid player, Mitch Moses, is out for 2 to 3 months with a fractured foot, which is no help. But just there's been a lot of talk from fans about his selections of teams and the fact that he's been there for 11 years as well without a premiership. What's your thoughts about Brad? Is his job under pressure as well?
Last week had nothing to do with Mitch, number one. Let's put that on the table. That was just the sheer desire and effort, and they weren't prepared to play at a high click, at a high intensity. Brad's got to go.
Whose fault's that though?
Brad. Yeah. Brad falls on the head coach. Brad didn't prepare this team as well, and it's been many times over the year. But a one-off, and it could be a one-off. Troy, they could come out this weekend against North Queensland and look like superstars again. Okay, so and this conversation will be over now. If it was up to me, we spoke about this off camera as well. Okay, can please someone in upper management there at Parramatta make a bloody phone call to the super coach at the Dolphins to get him down to Parramatta? So because we're still in the window, Parramatta is still in a window. It's closing quickly, but it's still in the window. So the last 2 or 3 years of this window, get Bennett down here so we can compete for a competition. Because unfortunately, I've got 12 years of a reason why he cannot win a comp, Arthur. He can't do it, unfortunately. We love him. He's a great bloke. He's a good coach. But coaches that get you to the 8, and we've talked about it, and get you to the 4, and there's other coaches that can win premierships. And I'll give you one example, someone you know very well, Smith. He can even get you to the big dance.
Yeah.
But he can't deliver a ring. You know what I mean? And we've got it's not a coincidence. All the same names come up when it comes to coaching. Cleary, John Crease, which is the Melbourne coach, Bellamy, Robinson. Okay, super coach Bennett. It's funny how all the same names keep popping up, and what that tells me is that there's certain coaches get you to one place, and there's other coaches that get you to another place. Like I said, he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go. You're going to get your strike centre. The wish came true. You're paid under 650 grand, and you're getting the strike centre next year. Okay, now you need the final piece, the coach. It's as simple as that. I know what your thoughts is. I know you like Brad.
My thoughts are, look, I'm a Brad Arthur fan, but look, 11 years is too long without a premiership. We got the close a couple of years ago. I don't know what it is, how he has stayed there for so long. He rebuilt the club from 2016 with the salary cap dramas, and then got them into the 4 the next year. Players love playing for him.
They all love him.
And it just doesn't transpire onto the field, that love, and just cannot take that next step. And look, I seriously think, I don't think, and this is my opinion, I don't think they'll sack him during the year.
No.
And I have thought about this, and I have thought that potentially, if they don't make the 8 this year, then I think potentially in the off season, there may be some changes in the head coaching position. But now that we know that South Sydney are in dramas and probably going to sack their coach, if Parramatta are thinking about going down that track, they need to strike while the iron's hot.
Got to do it now.
We all know that Wayne Bennett is off contract at the end of this year and wants to keep on coaching. Make that phone call. He's not going to. There was talk that he was going to come down as a general manager of football, football director, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to be a coach. And if Parramatta are thinking about that at all, they need to do it strike while the iron's hot, as I said, because you don't want someone like South Sydney jumping in. Personally, I don't think he'll go to South Sydney anyway. I
don't think so.
I think he's done that before. Yeah. And, I mean, someone like Wayne is who South Sydney need because he won't cop any crap from anybody, and he is a super coach. But I just don't think he will go to South Sydney. So I think if he wants to go anywhere, he'll come to Parramatta. But as I said, if they're thinking about it, then they got to strike while the iron's hot and just get Wayne before South Sydney do. Craig Bellamy, that won't happen. He's potentially going to have another year in Melbourne. It's a year-by-year prospect with Craig. You're not going to get anyone else of high calibre that's going to come to Parramatta. Obviously, you got Trent Robinson at the Roosters. So he's not going to leave there. He's got a job there for life as long as he wants it, no matter how the team's going. But so yeah, they need to act. If they're thinking about it, they need to act on it and get it done. But you're right. It's just some of the team selections that he makes. Now, I have heard that he doesn't have majority in team selections, if you know what I mean.
That's crazy.
That
crazy.
is.
A coach needs to have who he needs to have, and not even get questioned.
That's right. He should be the one picking the team, and that's it. He shouldn't have any outside influences. And then you know that it's his team and the results will be because of him. But the one thing that I've never seen Brad do is get upset in press conferences about any issues that have affected a game and Parramatta have lost. So, you know, us Parramatta fans, we want to see Brad get upset like Ricky Stewart gets upset in Canberra. For everything that we can see, and not just say the same old things in press conferences. But yeah, I mean, I said it at the start of the year. If Parramatta don't make the 8, then he will have a serious chance of losing his job.
Do you agree that there's only one coach for the team? There's one coach. So the coach makes the final selections. Meaning Wayne Bennett. There's only one coach for the team. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's off contract. So
yeah. So what I'm trying to allude to is if you're going to sack Brad, because he's got another 2 years, I believe, at least 1 year, I think. It can only be Bennett. That's the only one who can come in to move on, to get to the next step, to get to the summit.
Yeah, I reckon so. It's been said before that he can, from an outsider looking in, he can identify teams with talent and he can potentially take them to that next step. And I think definitely. I mean, people say, well, he's 74 years old. Well, that doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
That doesn't
That
matter.
doesn't matter.
He wants to keep on going. Gordon Taylor said tonight he'll probably be coaching until he's 90 years old or something like that. So
I agree.
If he wants to coach on, then and he wants a new challenge, and look, it'd be a massive challenge to get after 38 years or 39 next year if Parramatta don't win this year to win a premiership. So yeah, probably just Wayne.
Troy, imagine that after 30, what is it, 38 years or 36?
38 this year.
38. Imagine what a triumph it would be. It'll be a challenge for him. I honestly believe he wants to come to Parramatta. I believe he knows about the 36 or the 38-year dry spell. Okay, and what a legend. He'll be put up there in the Parramatta community, exactly like Jack.
Yeah.
No different. You guys will be talking about Bennett exactly like you talk about Jack, and so you should be. And so you should be if he does that. Okay. And you know what? He's the only one who can do that. I actually believe it. I don't see anyone else. If I hear that he's coming to Parramatta, I would go to the betting agency and put my money on Parramatta to win the comp. Honestly, that's how confident I am. Cool, because the cattle's there. There is no doubt in my mind the personnel are there. There's no doubt in my mind. But you know what? How old's Junior now?
Yeah, he's
29?
getting on. Yeah, he'd be late 20s, early 30s. Early 30s. So he's coming towards the end.
I think Reggie's a bit younger, not much younger, but Reggie's a little bit younger. That's what I mean. They're all right to pick now. Mitch is 28, I think. Now they're all right. They're all in that window. They're all at that stage of their lives that they're ready to wear a ring. So I hope someone is listening to us in Parramatta, the hierarchy, and just puts a feeler out. I'm sure the feeler's been put out, but I hope so. And you know what's so hard about this? We're having this conversation. In the back of my mind, I like Brad. I like Brad. He hurts me.
I do too. As I said before, he got us out of a dark place and turned us around. And but what Brad is, he's a development coach. So he can turn fringe first graders, good first graders, into regular first graders, into rep players. I mean, Parramatta over the years, they haven't had that many State of Origin players, but Brad's coached Nathan Brown, Regan Campbell-Gillard, Junior Paolo, Clint Gutherson, Mitch Moses, to State of Origin, to play State of Origin. So he can develop those players. You look at someone like Isaiah Papali'i, who came from the Warriors. He was a fringe first grader there, played some games there, came to Parramatta, had 2 great years. Signed a mega deal at the Tigers, and hasn't replicated that form at the Tigers.
Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it, Troy. Nowhere near it.
Even though a few people probably disagree at the moment. Sean Lane was another one who was a bit of a journeyman. He came to Parramatta after a few clubs.
Struggled at the Dogs.
Yeah, there was talk of him being a kangaroo tourist in 2022. That didn't eventuate, but that's all got to do with the coaching. And look, he probably wants to be a head coach, Brad. So I can't see him hanging around at Parramatta if he isn't the head coach, but he certainly is a great development coach, so he can work with players, both young and old, or older, I should say. But the thing that Parramatta fans have probably been a bit upset with is the fact that we haven't blooded too many younger players into our team. There's a bit of talk about Ethan Sanders, whether he can play or he can't play. I'm not 100% sure on that situation, but in my eyes, if he was available to play, I'd just be putting him in at halfback. He's the second
is
choice.
He ready?
Well,
is he ready?
You're never going to know, are you? Unless you put them in. I mean, he's the second choice halfback at Parramatta playing New South Wales Cup. So You saw in the old days. If the first grade halfback got injured or was playing state of origin, and they just plucked the reserve grade halfback
Reserve grade,
straight up into first grade.
Straight away, yeah. Is he doing it to spite the youngster because he signed or apparently signed for Canberra? Is he doing it?
Well, I hope not.
I hope not either, because that's not very professional.
No, I hope not, and only Brad will know that. And I hope not, but I certainly hope not, because that would not look good on him for sure. Well, that's enough Parramatta talk, I think.
That's enough
for the moment. Let's move on. And something else I know that will get you fired up is the hip drop. Drop. Victor Radley, he got sin binned last week against your Bulldogs. Good win. Good win, by the way, against the Roosters. But he got sin binned for a hip drop tackle. There was the match review committee. He was put on report, but no charges. He's playing tonight. What's your thoughts on that one?
You know what? Apparently, he did a hip drop. For me, I saw Victor Radley tripping over basically with a hand sort of like trying to grab a jersey. Okay, somehow the bunker decided it was a hip drop. I don't know where they found that footage from. Maybe they're watching something on YouTube, but they definitely weren't watching the game. But you know what actually happened? I'll tell you what happened, okay? They're on a roll, they're on a roll, the Roosters, coming hard, okay? The minute that happened, the roll stopped. And Canterbury sort of pried their way back in. The Bulldogs pried their way back into the game for enough of a period to get away with that game. Because if that game went for another 10 minutes, definitely the Roosters would have won. So number one, I always say the bunker, okay, disgrace, blow it up, okay. The referees, they're struggling this year. They're not fast enough. They're not quick enough. They're not smart enough. We've got to have two referees. There's no doubt in my mind. One over the ruck, a senior referee, and one holding the 10. And I've told you this before.
Yep.
I've told you this before. You do realise that the referee, the wingers, and the bunker, they're not a team. You just get random people given to the head. Well, how crazy is that?
That's right.
Seriously, how crazy is that in this day and age? Imagine chopping and changing your halves weekly.
Yeah.
How's that going to go? How's that going to go for you?
You just need one voice going into your head.
Oh, it's Troy. It's crazy. And you know what I don't like? These players playing that up every time something feels or looks like it's a hip drop or a crusher. You see them holding their heads. You know what I mean? You see them limping, getting up. Yeah, they're as bad as the bunker. These referees, but these players. But you know what? They're just playing to the rules.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say nothing about the players because they've been told to do that, and that's fair enough. But the bunker, okay, is a disgrace. We shouldn't have a bunker, or just for tries.
Yeah.
Just for tries, and they can watch Porkies after that, or they can watch Flying High up the top. They can watch anything they want. Try. You don't have to watch
on one of their multi-screen TVs.
That's right. That's right. They're a disgrace. Well, what did you think about the hip drop? Was it a hip drop? Because I know one of your sore points.
No, I only saw it on the highlights, to be honest, and it looked like he had his arms sort of around mid-drift, sort of up near the shoulders, and yeah, I thought a hip drop was when you had your hands around his hips and slid down.
And you dropped down.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Not where he was tackling up here, but the other thing that happened in that game too was the Dom Young swinging arm. Apparently that he got sent off for the first send off for the year. The thing that really upset me is the fact that Taff, he had to go off and he didn't return back to the game. It took me back to round 2 with Jerome Luai and the swinging arm on Bailey Simonson. Now, Dom Young suspended for 2 weeks, yet Jerome Luai didn't get anything a couple of from round 2. So I don't know. Us as fans just need that consistency.
I sincerely hope Jerome after that game bought a lottery ticket because
Oh,
he got away with murder that game. Not only one occasion, I think 3 occasions he could have got either sent off or definitely sin binned and on a report. But you know what? None of it happened. So, and yes, it did cost you.
I
No
think
doubt about it.
I think what made Dom Young's one look worse, I think, is because he jammed in from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
outside. I think that's
The,
what made it look worse.
the minute you're a shooter, you better get it right, and especially if you're coming from the side. And Taff isn't a very tall man either.
No.
You know what I mean? He's a short man, and I think Young is 6'6" or something. He's a
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
very
Yeah,
large man. So yeah, he got it wrong, and I think there's no malice, but he knocked him out even before he hit the ground.
yeah,
Now, what Trent Robinson said about new standards, I think he should take a Bex and have a lie down because he got that one wrong. Dom Young deserved to get sent off.
yeah. Well, the other thing that the bunker found over the weekend was the Manly try to Koula.
Oh,
Dylan Edwards from Penrith. Penrith were on the charge. Dylan Edwards has thrown a ball out. The Manly winger, I think it was. He, I think, went to catch the ball,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the ball bounced on the ground, and Kula was behind and picked it up and ran 90 metres and scored. I think some of the Manly players, they stood still. The Penrith players stood still. Kula played to the whistle and scored. Now, I've listened to a lot of commentary over the week about this, as this was a massive talking point. Now, my first thoughts when I saw it was, yeah, knock on. Surely the bunker's going to jump in and say knock on, scrum, or play the ball as they do now. But they ran it and awarded a try. Because every time you see a drop ball these days, even the ones that do go backwards, you say, oh, that's a knock on.
Knock on.
That's a
Yeah,
knock on. And look, some of the commentators, they've said that no, it's sort of, if you look at it, it bounced back. And what's your thoughts on that one?
It's a fucking knock on, Troy, every day of the week. Hang on. Yeah, well, I reckon they do some. I reckon they. I don't know what they do up the top. I reckon they sit around with some McDonald's or whatever, but they're not watching the game. They're seriously not watching the game. Okay, that was a knock on. Not that they changed the complexion of the game. I mean, Manly was a better team, and they're always going to win. But Tommy Talau must have thought he got a present.
Yeah.
He got an early Christmas present. You know what I mean? Because everybody just stopped.
Yeah.
It was a knock on, Troy.
Yeah.
It was a knock on. You
It'd
know what I
be
mean?
interesting to see if it happens this week.
Did what's his name come out and say anything about that? What's his Annesley?
Annesley, to be honest, I can't remember.
Yeah, again, wouldn't you? I'd love him in my corner. Gee, kiss of death, that bloke.
Well, speaking of Manly, it's come out this week that Josh Schuster, their $800,000 a year signing, and I think that contract starts next year. I don't think it's this year. He's been told that he could go look for another club. He's been playing reserve grade for the last few weeks. He started the year injured, I believe, and playing reserve grade for the latest couple of weeks. But what's your thoughts on that one? A, about the size of the contract, and B, the fact that he's gone to he's able to go find another club, and where do you think you'll end up?
Yeah, look, number one, Manly got it wrong. They got it wrong. They gave the youngster too much money. We've got the start of a Latrell Mitchell situation here. You can tell the kid's been paid $800,000, and he's had like 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 15 first grade games, and he's performed in sections of a game. Hasn't given us a full body of a game to say, you know what? Yes, he's an $800,000 player.
It's potential money. It's potential money, isn't it?
Which, well, and you know what? Some kids can handle it. He can't. No doubt about it. We've seen it. He can't handle it. Okay, but They are smart. They've put clauses in which
Okay.
they can walk away. They put weight clauses in which he fails. He's failed the weight clause, and they can walk away. Okay, so that's one thing for Manly. That's a tick for Manly. Okay, now Schuster's manager has got to be serious with the kid. Okay, and he's got to take him for much less money because no one's going to pay 300 for him. I wouldn't pay 300 for him. What would you pay? What has he shown us? He's shown us nothing. He's shown us bad attitude. That's what he's shown us. Okay, and he doesn't listen to the coaches because he's always he's asked to be 100 kilos and he comes back at 115 all the time. You know what I mean? So his manager has got to get serious now and go to a club with a strong playing group and a strong coach. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Melbourne. I'll ring him up. I'll get Schuster to ring John Crease up and say, "I'll play for nothing. I'll play for nothing. Get me back on track. I'll play for nothing." Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Trent doesn't want him. Trent said, "No way in the world." I would get the kid, drive him to Penrith. Okay. March him into Ivan's office, and beg Ivan to take him for nothing.
He probably couldn't get a start at Penrith because there's so many good players there. But
that's not the point to get a start. To get back on track. Back on track. Because have you seen him play in Reggie's?
No, but I have heard that it hasn't been too good at all. But could someone like Shane Flanagan at the Dragons potentially turn him around?
Well, he passed on him. Number one, they've asked him, and he said no, thank you. But no, he can't because he has to have a strong playing group around him. Not only a strong coach, a strong playing group.
Yep.
You know what? Forget this kid being a superstar this year or next year. Not going to happen. I'll tell you now. But we talk about a 5-year block. That's a separate conversation. Forget about getting 800,000. Put him on the market. How much would you pay for him? How much would Brad pay for him? Would you pay 250 for him?
Well, yeah, you pay 250 for him. But I don't know what his market value is. I mean, I know that 800,000 is way too much. It's about 500 too much, I reckon. Honestly. Yeah.
He's a Reggie's player.
Yeah, he was signed on that deal for potential. And it was looking like he was going to be I think he wants to play 5'8" at Manly, but they've got Luke Brooks now.
There's no way. Look, I'm talking bad about him. There is heaps of potential. Make no mistake, he's a very talented young man, and he offers something different. As a back rower or a 5'8", I prefer him as a back rower. He offers something extremely, extremely different, and it's like Parramatta when they got Cardi. Okay, he's a back rower which offers something completely different. He can ball play, he can pop, he can take a dirty carry. So he offers something very different, Cardi, for that pack. Because you got a pack of monsters. Yeah. Okay, and then you got someone who's got soft hands like Cardi. So that's what I mean. Yes, potentially he can be an $800,000 player, but he's got to be in the right system and he's got to show that form consistently. He has not done that. So that's why I suggest to you he needs to go to a strong team. Yeah, he won't make Melbourne, no. But do you honestly think if he goes to a lower team, because if you're a lower team, usually your culture isn't strong, and the playing stuff in the building is probably a little bit weaker than the rest of them. So do you honestly think a Tigers or a Canterbury or Desi Bear at the Goldie is going to change his kid's fortune? I don't believe so, Troy. I don't believe so. I really don't.
No, you are right. I think it needs to be the right team, and as you said, even if he does go to Melbourne and not play first grade, but still be in that system. And
would Brad take him? He's a development coach. What do you think Brad could do with him?
Well, I think he could. I think he probably could.
There's strong character. There's very strong characters in that dressing room. He said no, thank you. Parramatta's passed on him.
Yeah,
they've asked him. But there's a lot of strong characters in the dressing room. Maybe a ball playing back rower. Maybe a ball playing back rower. I don't know. But I think he might have. I think he might have a problem picking up a club.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a thing to watch over the next couple of weeks because, as we know, he's been told that he can look at going to another club. So we'll just have to wait and see where he ends up. Another thing that's happening this weekend, well, actually now as we're talking, is the Newcastle versus the Roosters game, and Michael Jennings, former Penrith, Parramatta. Roosters player and current Roosters player is playing his 300th game. Now, the NRL have come out and said that there's going to be no recognition from them of Michael playing his 300th game. The Roosters, though, and Trent Robinson, they're going to recognise it as 300 games in the NRL. Some I've seen on socials, some of his former teammates have come out and said congratulations on playing 300 games. What's your thoughts about this situation?
Thank you, Troy, for asking. These are my thoughts and my thoughts alone, and we haven't had a discussion with Troy regarding Jennings. You know what I find intriguing? Mr. Dumbo got a contract on his desk November, December. Okay, and he looks at it and he goes, Jennings, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll tick that off. I'll sign that away. You know what, Dumbo, if you didn't want him to play in the NRL, ring up Trent and say, look, Trent, no, can't play, can't be in the squad. Don't want people like that in our game. Simple, done, finished. But wait a minute. Let's pick on the domestic violence one. Let's not even talk about that. And that's okay. The drug issue that he obviously had because he got banned for 2 years, wasn't it, Troy? Okay.
3.
Sorry, 3 years.
Three.
Okay.
No, it must have been 4. He's been out of the NRL for 4 years.
4 years? Then 4 years he got banned, okay? That's okay. The drug issue's okay. We won't even worry about that one. But apparently, which he went to court and he got exonerated. Nothing to see here. Move on, okay? We'll pick on that, okay? Now, I honestly don't believe he gives a flying F about a game ball, and Trent and the Roosters are sorting that out, okay? And Dumbo's keeping right away from it. But he could have nipped this in the bud. They're incompetent. They've created this mess. The management or Andrew Dumbo's created this mess. Okay, well they can sleep in it now. They can sit on it and every. So what happens in Australia? We've got lots of do-gooders. Okay, back in the day when you do your time or you go to jail and you come out, it's done. You've paid your and our game, a very forgiving game. We let people back into the game, and we stand there with open arms, Troy, and we give them a big hug. Okay. But unfortunately, we've got so many do-gooders. Okay, because remember, now I don't know what happened. I won't lie to you. I don't know about the case. All I know is that he had his day in court, and he's got ticked off. That's all I know, Troy. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I don't know about the case too much. I didn't even know that he was going through, before this week, I didn't even know he was going through a domestic violence case. I didn't even know that, okay? But he's had his day in court, and the judge said, nothing to see here. Let's move on. Well, let's finish it there. Finish it there. Now, all this hullabaloo, it's ludicrous, it's crazy, but they've created the mess. Make no mistake. The NRL's created this mess because they could have said no. Because they knew exactly what he was going to be in the Rooster squad. I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want someone with someone who allegedly has, I don't know what he's done to women. It was his wife, apparently. Okay, no. But no, we ticked that off. Thinking that nothing's going to happen, nothing's going to come from this, Troy.
Yeah.
He's going to be somewhere playing in Mount Jewel, whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't. They've created it. Good on them. They can suffer it.
Does that mean that he'll, in the NRL eyes, be always on 299 games? No matter how many games he plays?
So. I think so. I'm not sure, but he definitely doesn't get a game ball. Is that what they get given, a game ball?
Yeah, I think so. Game ball and
Yeah. So Abdo doesn't want to get that picture of him, standing next to Jennings, giving him a ball. So if that's what
yeah,
he doesn't want
usually they
to
present it.
association. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want that association with an alleged. I don't know what I don't even know what he did, honestly, Troy. I
Yeah,
don't even know what he
I'm
did.
not across it totally
Yeah.
either. I knew that he was going to court for it, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
My point is, it's not about Jennings. It's about the incompetence of the NRL. If you don't want him there, don't sign the contract. Don't sign it in. Don't stamp it. Simple. Very simple, Troy.
Yeah, yeah,
Takes
no,
seconds.
It is. It is. Look, for me, it's a little bit. Look, I'm stuck in the middle. Okay, so I'm stuck in the middle because the way I think about it is, I think about why the NRL won't recognise his 300 games. So I think about that, and I think, I'm obviously of that belief. You definitely can't do that sort of stuff.
No, unacceptable.
And whether you're guilty or not guilty, you've been in that spotlight of those reasonings. So that's on that side. But on the other side is the fact that he has played 300 games. Oh, yeah, he has played 300 games.
Absolutely.
As a rugby league player, doesn't necessarily mean the person that I don't know what sort of a person he is. I'm just thinking about and talking about the rugby league player, and he's played 300 games. He's won a premiership. He's played test matches for Australia and Tonga. He's played for New South Wales. He played at Parramatta. Played at Penrith and the Roosters.
And a good stint in the Parramatta.
Yeah, so I think of, and not just him, I think of these other players that have, that when they're playing NRL, if they have done something off the field, then I put myself in the position of thinking about them as the player, but then I'll also have a opinion of them, of what they're doing off the field. So yeah, as I'll have an opinion as humans as they do off the field, but I'll think about them as a player, and I mean,
it's very murky.
It is.
I can see you struggling, but I mean, let's not forget Jack DeBellin. I mean, the poor guy got put through the ringer after 2 or 3 years, and at the end they found him innocent. And make no mistake, we were denied of 2 or 3 of his best years, DeBellin there. So, you know what? Every other country and every other sport in the world, most of them, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. If you go on that philosophy, I think a lot of all this stuff can get cut out. Even if do-gooders come in and talk and scream and shout about, because let's get real, some players, look, Dylan Brown apparently last year groped a girl or did something like that. It's probably worse than it sounds worse than it really was. But some girl got upset about it, and he shouldn't have done it. He's a high-profile rugby league player, for God's sake. You know what I mean? But there you go. You know what? I reckon hundreds of men do that in worse what he done in nightclubs every after or every
weekend.
night. Yeah, every night, mate, or every weekend. But these people are put on high pedestals, and we want more from them, but they're just human beings at the end of the day. But specifically this case, it could have been, and this is my point, I hear what you're saying, could have been nipped in the bud. No.
Yeah. No.
Abdo goes, no.
Yeah.
I don't like, no. He's accused of I think, hitting his wife. Well, no. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, fair call.
Yeah.
Well, let's end the show on a positive.
Yeah,
What have
good,
you
good.
what have you got on the Quick Hands podcast this week?
Ah, we got we've broken them down in
Yep.
sections. Troy, controversy corner is something what
Okay.
like we done now. We debate the issues of the week.
Yep.
Then we talk about the games. Then we've got Ask Artie, and Arthur's puts a bit of humour,
Okay.
on rugby league. Yeah, it goes into some comparisons of teams, this that, and then right at the end, I call it tidbits or the year in review. A
Yep.
little bit of nostalgia. We go back. We talk about movies. We talk about music of the year that I picked. We talk about the grand final team of the year. We talk about a player in review. It's very quick because by that time I think we're about 2.5 hours in to a pod, and we're all pretty tired. I mean, last night I think we got out of the room at 12:30. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, we're pretty tired. But as you know, the boy wonder breaks it up into three or four chunks and makes it a bit more palatable. And at the end of the day, Troy, it's something like you and me here. I just like catching up with you every fortnight or every week. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We have a bit of a chat before the pod. We talk about something we love, or we're very passionate.
That's it.
And those other two guys, I know them a bit longer. Obviously, one from school, and the other one's my brother-in-law. And if it wasn't for the pod, I wouldn't see him that often. So that's what it's about. It's just we always said we want the show. It's like a couple of guys around a table just talking rugby league.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
that's what it is, and that's what it's about. And as I said at the top of the show, I listened to tidbits today coming home, and certainly brought back some great memories.
Listen to Controversy Corner. That's
Okay.
a little bit more fiery. It's
Yeah.
people's passions and emotions get a bit fired up a bit. You know what I mean? Latrell copped a bit of a beating this week, unfortunately. But then Latrell cops a beating all the time, the poor guy. But you know what? It's just our thoughts, and nothing's been censored. Like here, we just spoke.
Yep.
And I asked you before the show, and you said, yeah, call it as you see it. You know what I mean? And I love that.
That's what people want. They don't want people to be fake and make up stuff. They want you to be real and have an opinion, and that's what this is all about. Well, we'll wrap up the show there because I know we're both dying to catch the rugby league.
Absolutely.
Is that what we love? And it's the start of the rugby league round. So thank you very much, George, for joining me tonight. For Sugar and Spice, All Things Nice, episode number 5. And listeners, don't forget, follow the Quick Hands podcast on Apple, Spotify. Give them a follow, give them a listen. They do some great stuff there. And enjoy your rugby league over the weekend.
Thank you very much, Troy. It's always a pleasure catching up, and everybody, happy rugby league.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.